The town of Hollow Ridge had a quiet sadness about its rows of houses standing like tired soldiers under gray skies, each one holding a story the world had forgotten. But none more heartbreaking than the story of a little girl named Eliza. Born with a rare vocal cord disorder, Eliza had never uttered a single word in her life. Not a laugh, not a cry, not even the whispered mama her mother yearned to hear. Doctors had tried everything from surgeries to experimental treatments, but nothing worked. They said she would never speak. The words irreparable damage became a cruel lullaby. Her mother, Claire, cried herself to sleep too every night. Claire had exhausted all her savings chasing medical miracles that never came. Each trip to a hospital ended with the same cold verdict: there was nothing more they could do. Eliza's school teachers were kind but distant. Children whispered behind her back, some mocking her silence, others afraid of it. Still, Eliza remained gentle, resilient, sketching beautiful mechanical drawings in her notebook as if to speak through her pencil. Her favorite subject? Machines. She loved watching gears turn, motors spin. She would spend hours taking apart old radios and putting them back together. It was the only place she felt powerful and control. One bitter autumn day, a stranger came into town. No one noticed her at first, not really. Just a grease-stained woman with strong hands and sharper eyes. Her name was Frankie, short for Francesca, master mechanic who had returned to Hollow Ridge. After 20 years of traveling the country, fixing everything from fighter jets to abandoned amusement parks, a garage, a rusted old thing near, the town's edge slowly came back to life under her touch. People started whispering that she could fix anything. If it has gears, Frankie can bring it back from the dead, old Mr. Teller at the gas station claimed. Even fixed my pacemaker's remote once with duct tape and a paperclip. Elisa first saw Frankie one afternoon while walking home from school. The girl stopped at the edge of the garage, eyes wide as she watched the woman work. Frankie was rebuilding a 1973 Harley-Davidson engine, hands dancing like a pianist, coaxing life out of old metal. Eliza gasped silently, of course, but her eyes said everything. Frankie noticed her. She gave Eliza a nod, then returned to her work. That was enough for the little girl. Every day after school, she stopped by. She never said a word, but Frankie didn't seem to mind. She'd toss her a bolt or a gear and nod toward the bench. Slowly, Eliza began helping, holding tools, sorting parts, watching. Learning, one evening, Frankie finally asked, "You like this stuff, don't you?" Eliza smiled shyly and nodded. Frankie continued, "You got the eyes for it. Most people see junk. You see potential." Eliza beamed. It was the first time someone had truly seen her, not her condition, not her silence, just her. Frankie taught her everything. How to read the language of gears, how to listen to the rhythm of a working engine. Eliza picked it up faster than any apprentice Frankie had ever had. The girl's mind was a miracle of intuition and precision. And then, one day, Frankie asked the question that would change everything. "What if we made something just for you?" Eliza looked puzzled. "I mean, something to help you speak?" The girl froze. Frankie continued carefully, "I've seen voice synthesizers, sure, but what if we built something different? Something mechanical, something alive. A hybrid of tech and instinct like you." Tears welled in Eliza's eyes. No one had dared to hope for such a thing, not in years, not even her mother. Frankie cleared a table in the garage. She pulled out blueprints, wires, servo motors, microcontrollers. She explained her idea, a wearable voice module that could read subtle vibrations in Eliza's throat and convert them into audible speech. But it would need precision tuning, and Eliza would need to help build it. It wasn't just a device. It was going to be a partnership. Every day, they worked. Sometimes late into the night, Frankie taught Eliza about frequency filters, resonance chambers, even hacked a discarded AI module to help shape natural speech patterns. Eliza drew, soldered, tested, and every time they failed, Frankie would grin and say, "Good. We're one failure closer to getting it right." Word spread through town. Some scoffed. "Mechanic thinks she can succeed where medicine failed." They laughed. But others started to believe. Even Claire, hesitant at first, visited the garage and saw a spark in her daughter's eyes. She hadn't seen in years. Then came the breakthrough. Elisa had been experimenting with the pressure sensors when something clicked literally. A small whir of motors spun, and the prototype spoke a single word. Hello. The sound was rough, metallic, but clear. Eliza froze. Her eyes widened. Frankie stood motionless, her face unreadable. Do it again, she whispered. Eliza adjusted. The device clicked. Hello, it said again. Claire, who had just entered with a cup of cocoa, dropped it. The mug shattered. Eliza, she whispered, stepping forward. The girl turned. She placed a hand on the device. The vibrations caught. Mama, it said. Claire collapsed to her knees. The device was far from perfect. It needed tuning, stability, and voice programming. But it had worked. For the first time in her life, Eliza had spoken. Not a doctor, not a specialist, but a mechanic with a gift hand, a girl with fire in her soul. From that day forward, Eliza wore the device proudly. It became part of her polished, custom-made, and beautifully mechanical. Her voice wasn't like other children's. It was unique. Worry, robotic, yet deeply human. Teachers listened. Friends gathered. And slowly, Eliza began telling her story through her inventions, her words, and her light. But just when it seemed like the world had turned a corner, something happened that would test them all. Frankie disappeared, vanished without a trace. And Eliza was left with a mystery that would push her further than she'd ever imagined. Days turned into weeks, and Frankie was still gone. Her garage stood locked, her tools gathering dust like silent tombstones. No note, no message, just vanished. At first, people assumed she had taken another job, maybe left town like she once did before, but Eliza knew better. Something was wrong. Frankie wouldn't leave her without finishing the upgrades, without saying goodbye. The day she disappeared, she had told Eliza, tomorrow, we'll test the new adaptive AI. It's going to learn your emotions, but that tomorrow never came. Claire tried to comfort her daughter, told her maybe Frankie needed space or rest. But Eliza had learned to read machines, and she could also read people. Something deep inside told her that Frankie was in trouble. The garage, once full of light and movement, now stood like a mausoleum. But Eliza couldn't stay away. She returned daily, sitting on the bench where she and Frankie had tested prototypes, staring at the untouched workbench like it would suddenly come to life. One day, frustrated and desperate, Eliza did something bold. She overrode the garage's security system. Frankie had once joked, if you're ever locked out, just ask the machine nicely. That day, Eliza took it literally. She rewired the main console and used voice-activated prompts she'd overheard Frankie test. The lock clicked. Inside, everything was just as they left it. But something was wrong. Frankie's master terminal, a computer built from aviation-grade components, was gone. In its place, a single note. 6 words, scratched into metal. Finish. It trusts what you built. Eliza stared at the words. Finish what? The upgrades? The AI? Sense of resolve ignited in her chest. Whatever Frankie had started, Eliza was going to finish it. She reopened the garage, not for business, but for purpose. She gathered her drawings, the discarded schematics, Frankie's blueprints, and the incomplete voice AI that was meant to understand feeling, not just vibration. Speech module worked, yes, but only on basic phrases. Emotions like laughter, joy, sadness, sarcasm, those were beyond its range. Frankie had wanted to fix that. Eliza made it her mission. Day and night she worked, tweaking the circuits, programming deep neural patterns into the AI system Frankie had been building. It wasn't easy. Some nights, the voice box glitched and sputtered. Sometimes it said the wrong emotion at the worst time, responding to sadness with laughter or joy with robotic stutters. But Eliza didn't give up. Slowly it learned. Taught it with her eyes, her sketches, even music. She coded rhythm into the processor, giving it tempo. When the module finally laughed correctly for the first time and honest, warm laugh, it echoed through the garage like a miracle. Claire cried again. She sounds alive, she whispered. But still, Eliza couldn't shake the feeling that Frankie needed her. Then, one rainy morning, a letter arrived. No return address. Just a greasy fingerprint on the envelope and a flash drive inside. On it, a single file, a scrambled video with corrupted data. Eliza plugged it in. Static then. Frankie's face glitching, bloodied, whispering, "Eliza, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry they came. They wanted the AI too powerful. Don't let them." Then silence. Eliza's hands trembled. Who were they? Frankie had hinted once that she'd turned down government work, said they wanted her to design military-grade vocal command. AI, she said it was too dangerous. That machines shouldn't feel, they should serve. Eliza realized that whatever she had rebuilt wasn't just a voice module, it was a prototype that could think. It was empathy wrapped in wires. Someone wanted it. Badly. Eliza knew she had to act. She encrypted the system, disguised its framework, gave the core AI a name, Frankie, fully reactive and neurokinetic interface emulator. It was more than homage, it was legacy. But just as she finished the last command line, the power went out. A black SUV pulled up outside the garage. Men in suits stepped out, no badges, just cold eyes. Claire ran in, breathless. They're asking questions about Frankie. About you? Eliza nodded silently. She activated Frankie's protocol. The garage lights flickered, then dimmed. A hidden panel opened beneath the workbench. Frankie's backup terminal intact, encrypted, and waiting. Eliza moved fast, downloaded the entire project, then destroyed the rest. Flames consumed the decoy servers. Smoke poured into the night sky. The men arrived moments too late. Eliza, with the core AI strapped to her chest, vanished into the woods. Behind Hollow Ridge for weeks they searched. But she knew the back trails, the hidden caves. Inside one, she built again, this time in secret. She didn't just finish Frankie's work, she advanced it. The module now responded to tone, texture, even heartbeat. This could laugh, whisper, cry, tell stories. The once robotic voice became something beautiful, part machine, part soul. And then she did the unthinkable. She went public. At a tech convention in a neighboring state, under the alias Eli Ridge. A young girl unveiled a voice AI so advanced, it made headlines across the globe. Journalists called her a genius, a pioneer. But when asked who had inspired her, she simply pointed to the sky and said, "A mechanic. She gave me a voice when the world wouldn't listen." The video went viral. Men in Black vanished. The government, exposed by whistleblowers tied to Frankie's past, backed off. One night, as Eliza stared out into the stars from her new lab, the voice module flickered. A message, static, then a whisper, "Proud of you, kid." It was Frankie. Somewhere, somehow, she was alive. And she had seen. Eliza smiled. Her voice box glowed, and for the first time without prompting, it said two words all on its own: "Thank you." Today, Eliza runs a foundation Frankie's voice dedicated to building adaptive tech for children with speech disabilities around the world. Her story, born in a rusted garage in a forgotten town, is a testament to hope, to the power of believing in someone no one else would, and to a mechanic who taught a little girl that machines can do more than fix, they can heal. If you ever visit Hollow Ridge now, you'll see a statue near the school, a bronze figure of a woman in a grease-stained jumpsuit, holding a wrench in one hand and a glowing voice module in the other. The plaque reads, "She fixed what doctors couldn't because she listened when no one else did."